For much more, we are joined by New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew, member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, so great to talk with you. And boy, as we're leading into, of course, President Trump taking the oath of office now just 2 days away, literally right around the corner. What was your impression of the way President Biden is bidding his farewell? It seemed very dark.
You know, I was disappointed for real. I mean, it was a sad, failed presidency. He speaks of oligarchs. I think oligarchs are the ones who were kind of running the country all along, a group of people, because he certainly cognitively was not able to do that. They tried to hide it. In the end of the day, they couldn't. But this was his chance in history to say, look, the people made a decision. This gentleman, Donald Trump, won the popular vote. He won the electoral vote. It is time that we all come together and try our very best to move the country forward. Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative, we all need to try to come together. It doesn't mean we'll agree on everything, but we have to try to do better. And he just tried to scare people. It was a dark and sour and dour exit. So I hate to be mean-spirited. I don't think I am being when I say it kind of caps a failed presidency, was a failed exit speech.
You know, and also, here it was, the irony of it all, also, Congressman, is he's, you know, talking about tax crimes, talking about gun crimes, going after oligarchs, dark money, and then they cut out and they show the White House photographer shows that sitting close by is Hunter Biden. I mean, it just seemed the irony didn't escape me. How about you?
It didn't escape anybody. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, you know, and again, in my committee, which I'm chair of now, the Oversight Committee and Judiciary, we're going to really dig into some of this stuff because we never, ever want it to happen again. Weaponizing the judicial system, weaponizing the Department of Justice, all stuff they did. Special plea deal because it was the president's son. Forget what he did afterward now when he, you know, the president exonerated him of everything, but they were actually going to try to do that through the Department of Justice, and the judge said you couldn't do it. All the things he spoke of being wrong, he should look at himself. He should look what has been done in his administration. He should look what he stood for, what he worked towards. It was all of this bad stuff. Joe Biden and his associates accumulated tens of millions of dollars from foreign countries. Hunter Biden was involved in Ukraine and Burisma and Russia. It's so much, it's almost overwhelming. And here's the deal, Rita, it's all true. It's not Republican talking points, it's really true. So I thought at the end here, he would try to come forward and say, you know what, a lot of stuff has happened, but I love America. This is the new president. I wish him well. I'll do anything I can to help, anything I can to make things better. Disagree when I disagree, but not this dark and awful picture he painted. It is going to be so much better under Donald Trump. It's going to be a rocky ride because we're going to make real change. And whenever you make real change, it's not easy because there's lots and lots of people in Washington who've thrived off the system. A system where it's the same old, a system that President Trump called the swamp. And, you know, I usually don't correct him, but I said, Mr. President, it's not a swamp, it's a cesspool, because good things grow in a swamp, beautiful flowers, trees, butterflies, birds, etc. But in Washington, nothing good the way that it has been grows. We need a new Washington, a Washington that represents real people, working people. And that's what Donald Trump stood for. It's what I hope I stood for in my election and many others. So I think there's going to be a lot of noise. It's going to be, like I said, a bumpy ride. Because when you make real change, people are going to try to stop you. But President Biden could have helped with that, and he chose not to. Right from jump start, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people are, and it just sort of has set such a horrible tone and made it even more difficult, I think, for President Trump. Unfortunately, you talk about the bumpy ride, Congressman, and obviously it's going to be very complex, all of these deportations, especially of criminal migrants. It just came out a little bit ago that probably on day one, some of these deportations will happen. We know the president's going to sign off on all of these different executive orders. Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan, really does have a tough job ahead of him. And here is what he said to Newsmax's Rob Finnerty about Democratic governors getting in his way.
They cannot assist. Shame on them, because President Trump and myself have been very clear. We're going to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats right out of the gate. That's our priority. We're going to go for the worst first. And I find it hard to believe any elected official doesn't want public safety threats out of their communities. I would think that's your number one responsibility, is protection of the community.
Now, there are reports that even as early as Tuesday, there could be some raids maybe happening even in Chicago. All of this comes also, by the way, that Trump has tapped Texas border chief under Abbott to be the head of Border Patrol. So there's a lot of things happening on the border front. Your thoughts about President Trump? This is clearly a priority, but it also has to be a priority for American national security. And it's going to be bumpy to see how some of these Democrats are going to handle what they say are the resistance over this.
Well, some Democrats have seen the light. You know, we've done some legislation now, including some bills I have, and the Lake and Riley Act and some other pieces of legislation that have sailed through the House with some, not the majority, but with some Democratic support. And they're getting through the Senate as well. So it's a new world. But let me say this. You know, you can discuss immigration, legal immigration, and how we can do better, and I think we can. And we love legal immigrants. Almost all of us were legal immigrants, and we're going to say that over and over again. The Democrats try to confuse it, say we're against immigrants, we hate immigrants, we're going to take good people and rip them out of their homes. No, we're not. We're going to do two things from Jumpstart. One, button up the border. Make sure you cannot have a solvent nation, a strong country with a weak, bleeding border. We're going to get that done from Jumpstart. Second thing that we're going to get done, the real bad folks, the people that are still floating around, and some of them got through that are on the terror watch list. Those folks that are criminals, whether they were criminals here or they were criminals in their country of origin, they have to be sent back. They don't belong here. And quite frankly, we shouldn't be paying billions of dollars to incarcerate them here. If we have to, we will incarcerate them, don't get me wrong, but really they should just go back to their country and let their country deal with it. We're going to get the worst. No. The worst. And I want people to know there really are bad folks out there that Democrats are defending and should say that should stay in our country. I don't get it. Don't ask me to explain it. It's weird. It's perverse.
Yeah, and I think the American public, when they hear especially the rap sheet of some of these people, will be very much on the president and your side when they see all of this, because they're just going to be astounded and will be stunned when they see some of the opposition, shockingly, to keeping some of those people. It's going to be an interesting issue. Boy, oh boy. Well, Congressman Jeff Van Drew, it is so great to talk with you. And boy, it's going to be a very exciting next few days in Washington, D.C. I'll probably see you down here, I have a feeling. Thanks so much.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks.
It's exciting. It's a great day.
It sure is. It's a great day for America. Thank you so much, Congressman.